Welcome to Time with the Empress. I'm so grateful to be here talking about self-mothering and the vital need that we all have as women to learn and master this powerful skill. My name is Lysa Black. I'm a heart healer from Heart Magic, and my biggest passion and devotion is to be able to serve and support women that want to deepen into their self-healing journey. I never chose this role. It was brought upon me, and I gratefully chose to surrender and allow this path to become my own. And my life gave me, it necessitated my healing. I had an unsupportive relationship with my own mother and came out of childhood with deeply unmet needs. I was absolutely hungry and craving love, affection, attention, recognition, acknowledgement, being heard, being seen. So if you relate to any of those, I was absolutely terrible in trying to seek to fulfill those needs, primarily in relationships with men. Not a good place to have those needs fulfilled. Within my work, within my role, not a good place to have those needs fulfilled. In my friendships, once again, not a good place to try and have those needs fulfilled. And I just want to talk into the reality that it doesn't matter how well you were nurtured and cared for in your youth by your mother, or how poorly or neglected you were treated by your own mother as you were growing up. I need you to hear me say that all of us enter adulthood with unmet emotional needs. And it's very important that you hear that so that you can feel into your heart for yourself and choose whether that's something that you agree with or not. If you don't agree with that, I totally honor your perspective. But I want to share my perspective that it's my belief that many of us can, one of two things. We can either go, I had such a terrible upbringing that there's no way that my needs are ever going to be met. Or I had such a wonderful upbringing that there's no need for me to actually feel as though my needs were not met. And both of those are completely unsupportive perspectives. And 8 years now, serving and devoting myself to client work, everyone has unmet emotional needs. And I want to expose that because it helps us align with the reality that we are called to self-mother. And what am I meaning when I'm talking about self-mothering? Well, I'm talking about three things primarily. And I want you to see how you feel as you hear me say this, because for me, when we have the mother wound, when we have wounding from not feeling as though our needs were met, it will show up in a variety of ways. The most common ways that I see the mother wound manifest is an inherent distrust of women. We have poor social skills when it comes to relating to women, particularly in friendships. We find it very hard to assert our needs and to show up supportive of the other person's needs. It's very common for women who have got a lot of unmet emotional needs to form codependent relationships with other women where there's a lot of trading and bargaining. If the other person in that relationship is unwilling at some point to provide you with a need that you perceive that you feel, then we start getting into control dramas and power plays, which totally ruin the inherent foundation of free reciprocated love that's given generously without expectation in friendships. Women who have the mother wound traditionally will attract men who are deeply unsupportive and unnourishing to mirror and reflect that they aren't deserving of that. And definitely when it comes to career and work, often when the mother wound is in place, you will manifest women within the workplace who are a reflection of your own mother and the way that she disregarded some of your needs or chose to ignore them, or while aware of them chose not to fulfill them. Now, I really cringe to actually expose all of that because it's horrific, but I need you to know that it's real and it's way more common than you would even want to know. And that's why I really want to speak out about this, because my clientele are highly sensitive. They're very gifted, very talented women, often healers and leaders who have enormous spiritual gifts and an enormous dedication to truth and freedom and love because of the shadow examples that they've been exposed to when they're younger. what I often find is my own background of having an unsupportive relationship with my mother. I am blessed to attract my mirrors, women who felt like they weren't supported by their mothers as well, no matter how minor or how significantly. Let's talk about self-mothering, because honestly, I go, this is powerhouse freaking juju juice that I think everyone needs, and men need this as well, but particularly women. It's so important for us in our role as mothers and our role as women and contributions on this world platform to know that we absolutely need to self-mother in order to have any capacity to show up for our children and show up for the causes that are so important for us. So 3 key elements to self-mothering. I'm going to write these down as I'm telling you, because I love speaking to you unscripted. I love speaking from the heart. And the very first one is to actually recognize that you're worthy of love. And it's a huge step. It's a huge step to actually qualify yourself as worthy, particularly those who have been unsupported and unnurtured. Walk away with an intrinsic belief, very deep and often unconscious. Often my clients are unaware that they have concluded that they were unworthy of the love that they didn't see. And I recognize you as worthy if you are living and breathing. If you are hearing this right now, I need you to know that I see you as infinitely precious and worthy of the love that you deserve. And I speak that with conviction, because it is my truth as well as your truth, and grateful to impart that to you alone. 2, what's really lovely is to, after we've recognized that we're worthy of love, is 1, we need to be able to perceive our needs. Women find this very, very difficult. We often have blinders on. You know, we're so good. I attract empathic intuitives who are incredibly discerning, incredibly perceptive of the needs within other people. And it's absolutely mind-blowing to see how much we can perceive the needs that are in other people, completely oblivious to our own. So I want to let you know that you definitely have the skills and the attributes to be able to comprehend and be able to perceive your own needs, but without the permission to do so, you never will. And because of that, you will perpetually try to seek your needs to be fulfilled outside of yourself, putting you in relationships where you feel out of control and dependent on the other. I don't want that for you. I want you to be able to feel self-fulfilling. I want you to feel whole and complete within yourself. And I want you to be able to hear from me that as you show up in deep commitment to bringing forward for yourself, fulfilling your own needs, you will absolutely manifest mirrors who will then reflect that same devotion. So the only way to actually attract loving, nurturing, supportive relationships is to devote yourself to creating that with yourself, which is why I'm mega passionate on this issue, like exclamation mark all over the show. So 1, recognize that you're worthy. 2, perceive your needs. Best way to perceive your needs is to journal. If you have a really loving, devoted friend that you can call on to hear you, that is super lovely. I love bringing really powerful listening to my clients. I can always hear their needs without them even saying it. It's very obvious for someone from the outside what you're needing. So absolutely perceive your needs. If you don't have any support, absolutely journal and just allow yourself to go, I am craving, I want, I need, and just allow yourself to write that as many times as you can. Fill in the blanks and keep filling in the blanks. I need to feel heard. I need to feel seen. I need to show up for myself. I need to feel recognized. I need to, just thinking of my own right now, I really need to be encouraged. I need to be reminded that I'm loved and that I'm cared for. I need to be supported. So go ahead and journal it out. Until you perceive your needs, you are absolutely powerless to begin meeting them, which is the 3rd step. Meeting your own needs. Almost, the word disgusting honestly comes to mind. That's my personal wounding speaking, because I personally believed I was disgusting to need what I needed. And I need you to hear me say that, because ignoring my own needs and showing up and serving and blessing and accommodating and fulfilling the needs in front of everyone before me has been my soul devotion for 33 years. And 2 years ago, I really recognized that there was no forgiveness required of my mother. I forgive her. I absolutely adore her. I have deep respect for her own pain and how that disabled her from being able to show up as the kind, gentle, nurturing woman that she is beneath her walls. What I needed to do was I needed to recognize that no one else was going to come along and meet those needs, and that the resentment that I held towards my mother was a secret clause really preventing me from recognizing that I have everything that I need to show up in self-mothering. Boom. So meeting your needs is something that you're going to have your own reaction to, your own perception of, and being really, really willing to show up and sit with yourself in your vulnerability, sit with yourself in your uncomfortable feelings, and be the love that wasn't there for you. It's almost cringeworthy that there's a part of us that reacts to this and wants to reject it, if you're anything like me anyway. I've conditioned myself to receive this from myself because I know the truth that I'm not receiving it from anybody else. So I chose to show up in total devotion and said, I promise that I will show up and impart to you anything that you require. You simply ask, and I will conjure that up from someplace. And I guess I just need you to hear that that's what we all need. You know, we really need to be able to have someone vouching for us, deeply committed to providing us with anything that we need to be heard, to feel seen, to be acknowledged, to be witnessed, to be cheered on, to be supported, to be loved and cared for. And I want to qualify you. I want to let you know that no matter what you've done, no matter what's going on in your life right now, I want you to know that I see the potential within you to bring forward this love and invest it in yourself. I promise you that there will be no healing in relationships, money issues, relationship issues with colleagues, children, ex-partners. It's all going to stay there until you show up in self-devotion. And I promise you that the rewards are so rich from doing this that I promise you'll never look back. So I'm here as a bit of a beacon, asking that if you're already doing this, please deepen in. If you don't know anything about this, please give yourself permission to marinate on these ideas. Please reflect if this is something that you're ready for. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you would not have lasted this long. So I honor that being here up to this point. I know that you need this. And I need you to know that I'm deeply committed to bringing this to myself. And while you may have never seen anyone else with this level of self-love and self-devotion, I want to be that person that lets you know that you have permission to do the same. My love is with you. I know you can do this. And I hope that this has been illuminating and valuable, and that it can be the excuse and the reason why you show up and invest in yourself, what someone else didn't, couldn't, or wouldn't. My love is with you. Mwah. Thank you for listening. From the Empress.